Three time trials of all-out effort, a 750-meter swim, a 20K or 12.4 mile bike ride, and a 5K or 3.1 mile run. These will take place every 4 weeks to track, most importantly, my progress, but also how I am stacking up against my 2025 goal, which, if you're new here, is to complete a sprint triathlon in under 1 hour. Now, what does that actually look like? So let's break it down at a high level here. The 750-meter swim will need to be around 11 minutes long, which is a 1 minute and 28-second pace per 100 meters. The 20K or 12.4 mile bike ride will need to be completed in around 29 minutes, which I will need to be averaging roughly 25.5 miles per hour or 41 kilometers per hour. And lastly, the 5K or 3.1 mile run will need to be completed in about 17 minutes, which is a 5 minute and 29 second pace per mile or 3 minutes and 24 seconds per kilometer. Every time I say it out loud, it still doesn't get easier to stomach. It makes my palms sweat even thinking about it. Okay, but anyway, that's what these benchmark weeks are for. And without further ado, let's see where I am now at the start of this journey. All right, time trial number 1 for our first benchmark week. Let's get after it. All right, so a little bit of context here on the bike time trial that I'll be doing every 4 weeks. The race that I will be attempting to complete the sub 1 hour sprint triathlon goal in has a bike route of 12.4 miles, obviously, but it has 560 feet of climbing. The closest route on Zwift that I could find to the race that I will be doing was this Jurassic Coast route. So again, I'll be doing this route every benchmark week to track my progress. It's 12.1 miles and 700 feet of climbing. So while technically it's 0.3 miles shorter than how far I'll have to bike, I'm making up for that by this route has an extra 140 feet of climbing compared to the route that I will be racing on in real life. But overall, I felt decently confident coming into this first time trial for the bike. I had just improved my FTP from 230 to 265 over a 12-week period, which, if you haven't, go check out that video on my page. I knew I wasn't going to be at the 29-minute goal that I need for my race, but that I could be relatively within striking distance of it on this time trial, which to me, that striking distance was anything under 32 minutes. Biggest difference between this and my FTP test I just completed, for me at least, is that there was no warm-up period for this time trial. I'm choosing to keep my warm-up at a minimum for these because on race day, there really isn't going to be any warming up taking place before jumping on the bike and then also starting the run. It's just straight from the water to the bike and then to the run. You don't get any warm-up time. Every second counts as soon as you start the race. So with that, I was definitely interested to see if I was going to maintain my FTP over this 30-ish minute time trial. I think one of my biggest takeaways from this first attempt, as well as just having completed some Zwift races here recently, is that I really need to work on some lower cadence climbing work. Right now, I usually am hitting some of these hill climbs at like 100 plus RPMs, which I could be wrong, but I don't think that is totally optimal or the most efficient. I think I'd prefer to be in that 70 to 90 RPM range, maybe give the heart rate a chance to slow down a little bit, maintain a steadier power output, and possibly even help my muscles not fatigue as fast. So I think that's going to be a focus of mine over these next couple weeks prior to the next bike time trial. Anyhow, we are coming up on the end of this first bike test here, and I'll let you enjoy some of the raw footage as I make a final push to the finish line of this route. After that, I'll do a little post-ride debrief before jumping into the next time trial for benchmark week number 1, which would be the run. Official results of time trial number 1, 20K all out on the bike, was 31 minutes and 31 seconds, which overall I am pretty happy with. I knew that biking was going to be my strongest because I have pretty much dedicated the last 12 weeks or so to improving my cycling, and it definitely showed. Now, going back to the times that were said at the beginning of this video, over the next 5 months, I will need to shave off around 2 minutes and 30 seconds of this time trial to get my bike in a good spot for the sub 1 hour sprint triathlon goal. Now, on to honestly what I am a little afraid of, that being the run. As I mentioned, I spent about the last 12 weeks focused solely on improving my cycling skills. So while that did put me in decent shape, I know that I'm going to have a lot of work to do to catch up on my run to be in as good of a spot as I am with my bike right now. Going into the run, I told myself if I can get anything under 21 minutes, that I was going to be very, very happy with myself. Let's check it out. All right. About to head out for time trial number 1 of the 5K run. Definitely not as comfortable for this one as I was with the bike, as I've been biking only pretty much for the past 12 weeks. So we'll see how it goes. Don't want to kill myself out there today and hurt myself, but definitely still want to try to give it my all, go as fast as possible. Also, if audio quality sounds bad, testing out the new action camera that I'll be wearing while I'm running. So we'll see how the microphone is on this thing and the video quality, but hopefully it's good. Either way, should be a fun one today. Looking forward to seeing where I'm at currently and where I'll go from there. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to show you too much of this running footage. I'll spare you the pain from wanting to bang your head against the wall because of how shaky this video quality is. In the future, I'll figure out a better way to capture some video mid-run so you can watch without feeling like you are in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. If you're still watching, you're borderline crazy. Why are you doing this to yourself? Seriously, just fast forward 10 seconds or something. Okay, enough of this. Let's jump straight into the post-run recap. I can't recap right now, if you can even hear me. Recap coming later. Alright, as expected, that was hard, and I mean very hard. Results for that time trial number 1 in the 5K was 21 minutes and 51 seconds for an average pace of 7 minutes and 3 seconds per mile. So I didn't beat my sub 21 minute very happy goal, but on the bright side, I guess I also didn't totally crash out. Although I did start out way too hot and way too fast on the first mile, got a little bit ahead of myself, and unfortunately that cost me to kind of crash out around the 2 mile mark or so and felt like I was limping towards the finish. But that's part of just getting back into the swing of things with running and something to improve on next time. I am excited to be back running again, excited to build that back into my weekly training schedule, and ultimately just pumped to see the progress that's going to be made here when I show up and put the work in on a weekly basis. Again, going back to the numbers that was stated at the beginning of the video, going to need to shave off roughly 5 minutes off this 5K time trial over the next 5 months. Stick around, it's going to be a fun one. Alright, now on to the last time trial for benchmark week number 1, that being the 750 meter swim. So yeah, about that. I actually got shoulder surgery back in December, so I am not cleared to start swimming progressively again until the beginning of April. So definitely no time trial will be taking place for the swim. I am hoping that I will be comfortable enough by the time that benchmark week number 2 rolls around to perform my first time trial in the 750 meter swim. So that'll do it for benchmark week number 1 in the books. There is definitely progress to be made, and I am hungry and motivated to make it. So make sure to subscribe. You are not going to want to miss the next benchmark week when it rolls around to see how far I have improved. Alright, that's it for this one, everyone. Rise up.